Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on CNBC News, NBC News, and NBC Sports radio station KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Podchaser, iTunes, TuneIn, Tiki Live, Rumble, Audible, Amazon Music, and more. Why so many places? Because I want to splatter as much hope and happiness on you and to start your day in the most positive way. In fact, we have a special guest this morning to celebrate AAPI month, and her name is Alicia Summers. She's a TV anchor. You'll have seen her all over the news, and I'm so delighted that she's going to come and celebrate AAPI with some personal stories of what it's like to grow up in America as an Asian woman or an Asian girl growing into an Asian woman. And we'll be sharing that after the break. But before we start that, you all know that I love to start the day with taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich. So, what are 8 specific things that you are grateful for that you can focus on instead of doing the swipe or news quicksand where you point and get lost in all of that stuff? So, you know the drill. Turn to the person next to you if you're with someone, or you can write it somewhere. Today, we don't have a chat because I did pre-record this so that I could get Alicia and she could still go and pick up her kids. So that's no interaction today, but we'll do that next week. But I wanted to kick off the weekend for you with this very special show. But I'm grateful that every day is like Friday to me, that I am living every single day knowing that I'm not going to get it back. And whether it's Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday or the weekend, it is all the same to me because it's a chance to do things, to achieve things, to learn things, to respect, to hug, to hold, to learn, to innovate, and to be creative. So I'm grateful that every day is Friday. Even though today is really Friday. I am grateful that I have loyal listeners who tune in and are so appreciative of the positive things that I help with. I'm grateful that tonight at 7 p.m. is another free once a month Get Happy session every 7 p.m. last Friday of the month. And you can go to drmarissa.life and look for the link to register for tonight's Get Happy session. And I'm grateful that today is Friday Fun Day, where I do get together with some friends and play games. I'm grateful that I'm in the 8,200s now in my Candy Crush. That's 4, that's 5. I'm grateful that I have Chinese roots and that I am now proud of them where I wasn't before. You'll hear that story after the break. I am grateful that I have a trip planned to go and teach Tai Chi on a cruise ship to Greece and Italy in the fall. And I'm grateful that I'm going with a girlfriend of mine that I've known for many decades. We used to model together in New York. So there's my 8 gratitudes. And I am so appreciative that y'all know that if you take a bite of my gratitude sandwich in the morning with the gratitudes, and then at night before you go to sleep tonight, do 8 appreciations of who you are, then you'll be in such a good place to sandwich your day in the most positive way. So I'll just do 3 things that I appreciate about myself. One is that I think about the past as what was done for me instead of what was done to me. So things that I didn't like actually helped me grow. That's one. I appreciate that I have a great sense of humor, and I appreciate that I love to laugh. And I use Ralph Waldo Emerson's definition of success, which is starts to laugh often and much. All right. That is the gratitude sandwich segment of the show. Y'all are getting used to that now that I'm the morning host. And when we come back, I'm bringing you Alicia Summers. Thank you so much for celebrating AAPI month with me. If you missed any of the shows that I celebrated, I think a couple days ago, we did the show on me learning a Bollywood dance and covering the Inglewood School District's AAPI Asian Festival with some really great dancers and musicians and lion dancers. So all of that, make sure you go to my YouTube channel, free subscribe so you can see that. And also, I'm going to bring you for the first break a little taste of Chinese yoga, which I'll be teaching this Saturday. So tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., if you're anywhere near Long Beach, please do come and join me on the beach in front of Plunge Restaurant. And you can go there and have a little bite afterwards. But right in front of there, I'll be doing the forms, the 28-minute moving meditation that promotes inner peace, one breath at a time. No experience necessary, no special clothes or mats. Do come dressed, but no special uniform. And I'll be teaching you this ancient Chinese practice that I learned from my auntie in Taiwan. I actually created it partially because she's 86 and looks like she's 56. So vanity is another reason for creating this particular moving meditation. So that'll be what I'm going to show you before we come back after break with my special guest, Alicia Summers. Take my advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Welcome to Balanced Tai Chi Gong. My name is Dr. Marissa Pei. For the next 28 minutes, we will be slow dancing with the universe in a moving meditation that promotes inner peace, one breath at a time. Just follow the sound of my voice and move with me as I guide you through this ancient wisdom through New Thought practice. As a corporate psychologist, I created this practice in response to my life and those of my clients. We were professional, high achievement-oriented, multitasking control freaks and exhausted. No matter how many successes, it was never enough. That, coupled with a painful life experience, led me on a quest to find another way to live and back to my Chinese roots. If you practice regularly, I can promise you that it will impact all health vortexes, body, mind, spirit, soul. You will be in a place of balance and inner peace the way we were created. 谢谢.
Be my partner, dance with me, just hold on, I will.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Audible, Amazon Music, iTunes, TuneIn, Tiki Live, Rumble, and more. And why? Because I want maximum splatter zone of more hope and happiness, because that's what this show's about. So no gossip, no scandal, no K words, no Kanye talk at all. And instead, and I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I bring topic and guests to you from all over the place. And because it is a special month, AAPI month, I'm celebrating it with one of my favorite colorful Asian women. And her name is Alicia Summers. So please welcome to my studio, Alicia. Hey,
Hi.
Darling.
How are you?
I'm happy and grateful. Thank you.
Thanks.
So you may ask, how do I know this beautiful woman that I'm sure you've seen, especially if you're in San Diego? She was an anchor for a long time.
I'm an anchor on One American News right now, so it's a national broadcast, sort of a graduation from the local station I was at, which was CBS 8. I mean, they call them CBS, but it's not really the national CBS. One American News is national.
Oh, I didn't even know that. So you got it. She got promoted. When I met her, we were both doing something, remind me, for an Asian event.
It was part of the Asian American Alliance, and we were doing an award. Wasn't it like an award show?
Yeah.
And you
Media
were there.
Alliance. Media Alliance.
The Media
Kathleen
Alliance.
Choi. Both of us do a lot of events.
Mm-hmm.
That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. So, but it was so wonderful. I was getting an award, I believe. You were getting an award, and she made you work. I think I was working too.
I was the mistress of ceremonies.
That's right.
That night. So I think I maybe have presented you an award. It was a few years ago. It was
a few years ago.
So my mind's a little foggy.
I have photographic memory. I'm just out of disk space.
Yes. That's a good way to put it. I like it.
Yeah. And we've been talking about doing this. Alicia was kind enough after we met she knew about my #1 bestseller, 8 Ways to Happiness. And so she said, you know what, you should go on my channel and talk. And so she handed me over to a producer. I ended up going on the morning show, I believe it was.
Yes, it was.
Yes, with Stella.
Stella's also at One American News now. So she left the local station and she's with me, One American News.
Oh my goodness. So I guess I get invited soon to the major station again.
Yes, right. Except the only thing I miss is the fun stuff, because at the local station, we covered a lot of featurey, fun, local events happening. Now it's very serious. There's not much fun. So the only fun I get to have is really like on weekends now, which I get to spend with my family, and I'm so grateful for.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Well, maybe in time they will bring that other stuff back, and then I can
maybe. Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So I thought we would celebrate AAPI month by not just celebrating our heritage, but sharing, maybe some things about our experiences growing up in America as an Asian American women, good, bad, and ugly, and sort of navigating that. I know that I know you a little, and I love getting to know people more in depth through the show. So I look forward to this convo and having just really no set menu, so to speak, but anything you feel led to share about your experiences as an ABC, as we call ourselves, American-born Asians. Wait,
Yes.
oh yes. So I'm
yeah. I don't. Mine's a little unique because I'm first generation American on my mom's side, because my mom was born and raised in Taiwan, and then my grandparents were born in mainland China. So they immigrated over here in the 70s, and then my dad and my mom married. My dad is Irish English, born and raised in San Francisco. So my story is a little hapa story, not necessarily like full-blown Asian, which I think is a unique experience as well.
Yeah. So you're a hapa. I'm a CBC, Canadian-born Chinese, and then emigrated to ABC, American-born Chinese. So that's super cool. So your mom and her Chinese name. Do you speak any Chinese?
I do, a little bit. Her Chinese name is Wei Ming.
Wei Ming.
And my Chinese name is Ko Tzu Li.
Ko Tzu Li.
Ko Tzu Li, because my maiden last name is Coates. So my mom created my Chinese name as Ko Tzu Li, like Alicia. So she just created it when I was a kid.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Does it have a meaning?
It's just my English name translated, I guess, into my Chinese name, so they sound similar.
Got it. Well, Li, the character Li, one of the definitions is strength.
Okay, there's a lot of Asians. Yeah,
Li.
A lot of Asian Americans here that I know, their last names are Li, so that makes sense. Yeah. Cool.
That's very cool. My Chinese name is Bei Nian Feng, and Bei is beloved. So beloved. Nian is learned, and Feng is phoenix. So that's my Chinese name.
That's so cool. I'm trying to think, because my mom's name, she's Wei Ming, but then our last name is Xiao, so that's still my middle name. She gave me her maiden name as my middle name, so Alicia Xiao Summers. But I don't know if I don't know if it has a meaning. I don't know if Xiao has a meaning. Do you know? It's Mandarin, right?
Yes, Xiao. If you say it with that intonation, it means small.
Well, yeah, Xiao is small, Da is big. But no, it's not Xiao, it's like Xiao.
So Xiao is to laugh.
Oh, okay.
So it could be that. We'll have to ask your mom.
I'm surprised I haven't asked her. I'm going to ask her right when I get off this broadcast.
Yeah, that sounds good. So what was it like? So you actually had the additional opportunity or challenge of being not just Asian and not just white. So at what point did you realize that you were different?
Very early on, because I really didn't fit in anywhere. Like, I wasn't Asian enough to hang out with the Asian clique. You know, in elementary school, in junior high, in high school, everything is all about cliques, right? So you get in where you fit in, birds of feather flock together. That really was like, I was trying to find my flock, and I couldn't. It wasn't that easy, because I grew up in I grew up in the Bay Area. So the neighborhood I lived in, white people were the minority. So there weren't a lot of white people there. I went to a high school, it was all Asian, Hispanic, Black. So I wanted to hang out with Asians, but there were a lot of Filipinos. So that's a little different. I didn't really assimilate with them. And then if I tried to hang out with my white friends, there weren't that many. So I knew like maybe two. So it was really hard. Like, I don't think I really had that many friends. I was just a loner.
Did you have brothers and sisters to hang out with, or?
Yeah, well, my sister's a lot younger, so we were never in the same school together. Not a lot younger, 4 years younger, so just enough to not be in the same school together. So, and my sister has autism as well, so she had other challenges. So I was just kind of like a loner.
Wow. Okay, so you had lots of opportunities to adjust and grow and get chiseled. So she's your younger sister?
Younger, yeah, 4
Younger
years.
sister.
Yep.
And growing up with autism, obviously very close to that. How is that, and what can you offer as I'm all about, whatever hardships we go through in life, put us in a wonderful, valuable position to help others who maybe are, just beginning to navigate. So anything that I can have you share to help any listeners who may, have just met someone who has autism or has a family member, what would you say are the top things to remember in order to make that a happier experience?
The autism spectrum is so broad. So when someone has autism, they don't necessarily fit into a mold. They're all so different. My sister she had a lot of anxiety and she was not social, so she could not talk to people she didn't know. She didn't like to be in group situations, very antisocial. So for her, she found comfort in familiarity. So anytime we would go somewhere and she didn't know someone, she would always need me or somebody with her to kind of hold her hand through it all. And that kind of brought her anxiety level down. Now she's living a little bit more of an independent lifestyle in a group home with other people who are living with disabilities. And the other thing, they don't like to be called disabled. They don't like to say, oh, my sister, she is disabled. She is mentally disabled. They would rather be labeled as, this is Kara, my sister, living with a disability or living with autism. So that's, I guess it makes them feel better, and it's just more acceptable to label them that way. And so she's doing great. When we were little, it was unfortunate that autism wasn't really known back then. In the 80s, when we were growing up, nobody knew what autism was. So I think it was a lot harder for her because my mom didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it was. We just didn't really play together. She never wanted to play with me, and nobody really knew why. Into totally different things. And she wasn't diagnosed until she was in middle school. So by that time, she's already halfway to being a grown-up, and there wasn't really a lot of help. Now there is. So people who have children who have autism now, they have a lot more resources and help available, which we didn't have back then.
Right. Great. Now, now that you have the resources and you have maybe a better or easier time communicating, have you ever talked to her about the same feeling of not fitting in because you were half and half?
She, I think, just never fit in no matter what because she just had the social anxiety. So she never ever wanted to be around people she didn't know. I think she has one close friend since they were little. They've known each other, and that is comfortable for her, and that's it. That's literally it. And then her family.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, cool. Now, your mom married a white boy.
Yes.
And I can say that.
She did.
I also picked a white boy to marry because I honestly, and you did too.
Yes.
Because I don't know about you, but I did it purposefully because I think hapa children are the most beautiful, and I know that's
your daughters
to say.
are gorgeous. I love your daughters are beautiful, so it worked.
Thank God. But decided not to stay with him. But I'm grateful that I we couldn't have had those kids I couldn't have had those kids without him. So he did well in that department, and they are, I'm so grateful for them. And I credit their balanced and places that they are. The little one's going to graduate UC Davis in 2 weeks.
Yay!
So double major in psychology and Chinese.
No way. That's awesome. I wish I would have. I did Chinese school on Saturdays when I was little. And then after I went to college, it just kind of fell away. I never practiced studied political science, and that was it. And I really wish I would have focused on Chinese more. What is she going to get a job now? Like, what does she want to do with all that?
She is taking a specialized course right now at UC Davis to add, she's an overachiever like me, to add the technical app making component to all that she knows. She's a specialist in relationship theory in the psychology side. Her dream job is to work for Tinder, and I'm not going to say how I feel about that, but
that's where dating is going in the future. I mean, she's going in the right direction.
Exactly. She that's kind of where I would love her, obviously, to go to grad school, because I got my PhD and my dad was very vested in me getting my PhD. So I'm, putting that pressure on her, but she's going to take a gap year, and she promises that she'll go back, but whatever she does is going to be fine. But I'm really proud of her. She just got a commendation from the psychology department saying she's getting an outstanding performance.
That's so good.
So Tiger Mom's happy.
Yeah.
Did you have a Tiger Mom?
Yes, for sure. Very strict Tiger Mom. To the point where, it can either go one way or the other way. You could either rebel and go against it or go along with it. And I think I was the rebellious one.
You were?
Rebellious one, yeah.
Really? Okay.
I wanted my freedom. I wanted to do what I wanted to do. And I feel bad for her. In hindsight, being a mom now, looking back, I feel really bad for my mom. So I have to.
Well, I'm sure she doesn't. At least the pictures I see on Instagram, it doesn't look like she's too mad at you.
No, I mean, we have such a great relationship now. But growing up, when I was still under her roof, it was challenging.
It was a challenge.
Yes.
And that reminds me of a story. Because I also grew up with a Tiger Mom on steroids, and you did not say anything that you were not supposed to, or you would feel it and hear it. Yeah. And I went to a girlfriend's house. Her name was Karen, and her mom said to her, "Go clean your room." And she turned around on the stairs. I'll never forget this for the rest of my life. She turned around, looked at her mother, and said, if you tell me what to do one more time, I'm reporting you to the Child Services Department. And I'm like, whoa, because if I even didn't say yes to whatever it was, I would have gotten soap in the mouth or a nice little whack or something.
Oh, yes.
So what a difference the cultural upbringing. So now I feel like I'm bonded to you because you had the similar Tiger Mom background to grow up with. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She had a paddle made out of wood that my dad made her. And there were holes in the paddle to make it fling faster in hitting me. Wait, am I allowed to say this?
You already said it, and I said it too. And I said it too. And let's have that discussion for a second, because I call that trauma, although I don't blame my mother and I don't blame your mother, because I'm sure her mother, and I know my mother's mother, that was just the way it was. And I was listening to was it David Letterman or somebody who was saying, that generation, it was okay to not only hit your kids, but to hit your friend's kid, your daughter's friend's kid, if they misbehaved, because that was just the way it was. Yeah. And I think that as open as I am about talking about my childhood trauma, it was definitely, some of it was just the times. And it was the way I know now, when my mom called me fat, ugly, and clumsy, just to even our score here.
Mhm.
It was a negative motivator. She really said it to me to
Yeah.
make sure that I would not get fat and ugly and clumsy. And
Yeah.
so, understanding that helps. It still doesn't change as a child the kinds of things that hurt your soul or hurt
Mhm.
your memories, that
Oh,
you
yeah.
can't think of that. So did you ever say to your mom, like, that was like, that hurt?
No,
No.
never. No. But and with her, like it was that it was raising us in a, I guess, reverse psychology way, where she's like, you're never good enough. She's never says she's proud of you, like, just so that you work harder and harder and get better and better. Like, you should never think you're good enough, because then you'll stop working to be better. So that was kind of how she raised us, like never ever complimented us in any way.
Yeah. Yeah. And similarly, because if they did, that would not be a good parent, because in the Chinese culture, there is such a strong, and here's your Chinese lesson. I've been giving Chinese lessons, on every other show, because it's AAPI month. So I did a speaking Chinese lesson earlier this week.
Yeah.
But just so that and I'm sure you've heard this too, the nail that stands up is hammered down. So in the Chinese culture and the Japanese culture, if you stand up, if you speak your mind, if you show off, if you say something to make you look good, then you're wrong and you're bad, and you need to be hammered down into like everybody else, which both of us obviously did not.
Yeah, it was a little sketchy there. Like, I could have gone either way, with that rebellious attitude. But I think getting out of the house helped.
Yeah.
So I picked a college that I could go to that was as far away from home as possible, but still within the state. So my parents didn't have to pay the out-of-state taxes. So I was up in the Bay Area, Northern California, and I came all the way to San Diego to go to college, because I wanted to get the heck out of town. And I think that helped with my growth and development and my relationship.
Yeah. I had a thought and it just went with that zooming sports car.
Oh, is that what that was? Okay.
That's what it was. Actually, when I was talking about we didn't follow, is that we're both in an industry that's all about being out front on camera, being talking loud. Did you get any feedback or pushback from your mom when you said, I want to be a broadcaster, I want to be a banker?
Oh, yes. She said, that's not a real job, and you need to get a real job, like get into the medical field. Well, you did, so you're good in that sense. Get into the medical field, be an attorney. Actually, I was on the attorney route. I was pre-law at UCSD, and then I worked at a law firm and realized those attorneys never stop working. They go on vacation, they're working, they go home, they're working. And I kind of wanted to pick a job where I loved it, and when I came home, I was home. So that's what I'm doing now. And I interned at a news station, and it's something that I always wanted to do since I was a little girl. But my mom said, no, 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 no. They were avid news watchers. So I grew up watching. I'm like, I want to do that. That's so cool. So I got an internship in college, and I was like, well, I could totally do this. I don't care what my mom says. I'm just going to try. And then I just went with it. Left my college law firm job and pursued news.
Well, and you're very good at it, and you're so beautiful, and you're so articulate. So you're definitely in the right place, for sure. For sure. Absolutely. I'll give you that's enough.
I need more. I've been deprived.
I'll give you the kudos that To this day, I just got back from Toronto. I was telling you, visiting my mom. And for the life of me, yes, I have a doctorate, but it's not medical. So it is not okay.
Okay. Yes.
It's not like a medical doctor. And worse, it's in psychology, which is not a value in China. It is starting to now because so many people are killing themselves, and they are, starting to acknowledge the mental health and emotional health. But to this day, even this last visit, she now knows that I do news on location news reporting. She knows that I have this show for 9 years and that I interview people. And her comment was, well, I was telling her about who I was interviewing, and she's like, well, I hope you let them show off and that you didn't, get in the way of that, and you don't show off, you just step back. I was like, oh my goodness gracious, this is I'm never going to win this one. I'm not going to win this one.
No, just have to let in.
It is what it is. And, everybody does the best that they can. If they could do better, they would. Can you tell how many times I say that? And I love her. She really did, her mom was a pill, and said even things like because she had her when she was 46. 40, wow. Very late. And then she had my auntie when she was 21, and she was a preacher's wife, so you're not supposed to be having sex that late. So she actually told my mother that she wished she had never had her and aborted her. So my mom grew up with that level of shame and discomfort. And so now that she's, towards the end of her life, she's telling me all these stories that I never knew before. And it's heartbreaking. Yeah. And so, you just never know. And you have to give people the benefit of the doubt. And even though you don't have great experiences growing up, hey, I don't regret anything, because I wouldn't be who I am without those experiences. So
sure. Well, you took it and made it positive. So
let's, I'm the hashtag positive spin doctor is the latest, the latest label I have earned. So
That's a good one. You just made that up now, or that was already established?
No, that was just recent. I got 2 new hashtags last week. One was because I always say I'm ageless, right? Because I don't want to admit how young I am. Yeah. And the other, so somebody said I'm timeless. And then I think it was a couple days ago, somebody said, whenever I don't feel good about anything, I go to your page and then I feel better because you're hashtag positive spin doctor.
Oh, make you feel good. Yeah,
for sure.
That's awesome.
For sure. All right. So enough with your mom, and hi, Mom. And no, she was not putting you in a bad light. You are the source of her strength.
Water under the bridge. It's water under the bridge. It all led to today, and I'm happy today.
Exactly. So now you didn't feel like you belonged. Were you ever ashamed of the Asian side of you? And I'm only asking that. Oh, yes. Okay. Because I was.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well,
Why?
Because I don't know. I feel like people just didn't really understand that culture, and they didn't understand me. So I feel like maybe I would just pick a different race. Like, why don't I be Hawaiian? Like, that sounds more fun. And I could pass as that. I'm like, I am whatever you want me to be. I could be Hispanic, like I can assimilate, but I just wanted to fit in. And I felt like if I told everybody I was Hawaiian, it would be more exciting and people would want to hang out. I don't know. I was young and dumb.
Exactly the same. I'm sure you had people look at you and say, what are you?
All the time. All the
time, right?
Yeah.
And then I knew Chinese was not good because I would get the Chinese, Japanese, dirty knees. Look at these. Yeah. Did you ever get that?
Yeah.
That one? Okay. And then
Kids were mean. Kids were
Huh?
mean. Kids were mean, especially
Yeah.
back then.
Do you have jaundice? Yellow.
Yeah.
And
I actually did.
Did you?
When I was born, I did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So you would have had a different response. I would like to enlist your help. I have decided this year of AAPI that I do no longer want to be called yellow. I would like to be called golden.
Oh, that's way better.
Isn't that way better?
So in the emojis on the iPhone, I always use the yellow, like the yellow. I just feel like that's Asian, but that's supposed to be neutral, right?
Isn't that interesting?
The yellow one? I'm like,
yeah,
wait,
I didn't think of that.
Asian, but then other people say it's neutral. So I feel like there should be a golden emoji.
Is it
maybe
golden?
your daughter could develop that? She gets
Good
in the
idea.
tech,
Good idea.
industry.
First project.
Yeah.
First project.
Right.
I don't want you to be a doctor or a lawyer, but you have to make an app for golden.
Yeah, emojis.
In emojis. That's true. I never thought about it. It is yellow, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So I also would lie if people said, "Are you Hawaiian?" I would say yes. Or I wouldn't say no. I wouldn't outright lie.
Yeah.
But that isn't that interesting though, how Hawaiian is cool, but Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Vietnamese, Cambodian is somehow not okay. Isn't that interesting?
I don't know. Maybe because, you go to Hawaii for vacation, so people kind of know it. They're familiar with it, but you don't go to China for vacation or anything like that.
Especially not anymore.
Right. So, yeah, especially not anymore. And that's why maybe kids back then were not familiar with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember so distinctly, please God, please God, please God, just let me wake up looking like the girl next door. Please God, please God, please God. I didn't want anything.
I always wanted blonde hair, blue eyes. Like, please, life would just be so much better. But no, I'm grateful that I don't have blonde eyes.
Yeah. No, and you don't need to. You are beautiful the way you are. So we're going to take a quick break and thank the sponsors who make this show possible. If you'd like to be a sponsor of this very positive show, please do contact me at drmarissa.life for very affordable rates. But we're going to hear from a couple of our wonderful a restaurant that you will definitely want to go to when you come up to LA, as well as where I get my car service. So we'll be right back with my very special guest, Alicia Summers, who's here, and we're celebrating AAPI month with some personal stories about growing up Asian here on Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind. So what do you do when you have an accident that makes a mess of your car? My go-to shop is Collision Repair Consultants. And they are actually on the preferred list of my insurance company, which makes it even better. Joe, Alex, Michelle, and all the guys will do their best to make the accident as hassle-free and pain-free as possible, with a warranty and guarantee for their work for life. If you are looking for a great body shop, go to Collision Repair Consultants and tell them that Dr. Marissa sent you. Give them a call at 562-218-8900. That's 562-218-8900. Tell them Dr. Marissa sent you.
Want delicious Vietnamese, Asian, fusion cuisine that is so good for your health you won't believe your taste buds? Olac is a 100% plant-based vegan restaurant founded by Mai on living foods and a love for animals that won't make you sacrifice taste for health. 2 locations to delight you, downtown LA and Fountain Valley. So go to www.olac.com, AULAC, to book your reservation today. Saving the planet has never tasted so good.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on CNBC News Radio, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, and streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and my YouTube channel, where you can not only get the past 707 shows, but also my interviews with Halle Berry, John Travolta, Quincy Jones, and more. And if you free subscribe, you'll get an alert that a new show is dropping. And today I am so excited. We are celebrating AAPI month. For those of you who have been living in a cave, AAPI stands for Asian American Pacific Islander month. And we are celebrating what it is like to grow up in America as an Asian woman. And my beautiful co-host today, her name's Alicia Summers. She is a news anchor. She was when I met her at CBS 8, and now she's moved on to the majors. She is with, one more time,
One American News. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. And she's taking no prisoners there and doing a great job on the air, doing the news and delivering it with a smile. So I have been asking about what it's been like to grow up not looking like other people. At what point do you think you became okay with the way that you looked or didn't fit in? What helped you with that?
I think going to college. I feel like in college, I went to UCSD, and more than half the population is Asian. So it kind of like I fit in better. And I think everybody was just so focused on their major and studying, and they didn't really care about cliques anymore. I think that was more like a high school thing. I don't know. I think college is what really helped me be more comfortable in my own skin.
Mm-hmm. Now, did you date Asian guys?
No, I just dated. I have a very specific type. And if you see my husband,
that's the type?
Yes.
So good looking, white.
Tall, dark, and handsome.
There you go. That was mine too.
Uh-huh.
Even though I'm happily divorced, I'm a sucker for tall, dark, and handsome. It's just horrible. And then, so how did you guys meet?
We met here in San Diego. I was visiting some college friends when I was working as a news anchor in Fresno. So I was in Fresno at the time as the anchor reporter, and I was here just visiting, and my friends knew his friends and kind of knew him. And we just met the old fashioned way at a sports bar. So no Tinder or anything like that.
No swiping.
No swiping.
And it was love at first sight?
Oh, pretty much. We, you're not going to believe it, but we were engaged 3 months after we met. And so if that's not love at first sight, I don't know what it is. And then 9 months later, we were married.
Wow, that's so cool. Now, did mom have any influence as far as selections of race for boys?
Well, you know,
even though she picked a white guy.
She did, right. So, and I told you I was a little rebellious, so I kind of just did what I wanted. And usually it was the opposite of what she wanted. So I didn't really, I fell in love and that was it. I didn't need anybody's permission.
Yeah. She didn't say anything. I guess she wouldn't be able to. My parents were really like pushing the Asian Chinese, which is normal for Chinese parents. And I was having none of that at all, probably because of the rebellion. Plus, I was just not really attracted. I was attracted to tall, dark, and handsome as well.
Yeah.
When you were dating, did you ever have a guy say to you, I've always been attracted to Asian women?
No, not really.
Oh, I got that all the time. And I would say, first of all, I'm not cooking for you. Second, I'm not cleaning for you. And the only way I'm walking on your back is with high heels on. That hurts.
Spike.
So it was, and maybe it's because I'm a little bit generationally older than you, which may, you know, that although I'm ageless, but that perception that is what Asian women do. So it could be because of that.
I could see that.
Now,
Yeah.
Your kids, you have two beautiful kids that I get to see on Instagram.
Yeah.
And they are how old?
4 and 6.
Okay. So have they mentioned, why does grandma, I don't know what they call your mom. Do they call her Popo? Oh yeah, that's the traditional Chinese way.
Yes.
When they see Popo and she looks Chinese and they see you and they see their dad, has that talk come up?
Not at all. The thing that they focus on is age. So they're like, Popo is 73, grandma is 72, dad is 39. Like, that's what they focus. Nothing about like superficial looks, nothing. It's interesting, right?
Very interesting.
Yeah.
And I think I credit the millennial generation for really steering us away from the superficial, which I'm grateful for. You know, they're much better at depth, I would say, right?
Yeah. And Popo is here so much. They grew up with her. We would fly up there and see them all the time. So they don't really know anything different. Like she's just always been part of their life, always. Yeah.
Have they come home with any kind of teasing or anything?
No, I think kids are just, I don't think it's as bad nowadays, at least in their young grade. Maybe high school, junior high is different, but right now one is in daycare, one's in kindergarten. So nothing that I've noticed so far with bullying or anything.
Yeah, I think I need to talk to my daughters because I don't know if I ever sat them down to talk about the differences. My older one went to Cornell, and so and she hated the differences in economic status that she witnessed. So that was her thing, but it wasn't really about color of skin.
Yeah,
So
and growing up in my neighborhood, it's like when I was younger, I never saw white people really. So I never really saw color.
Okay.
I didn't really notice like how diverse I was in that neighborhood until I came to San Diego. And I feel like Southern California, there's a lot of white people, like way more than in the Bay Area, especially
Right. Right. So I know you have to go pick up your beautiful kids. So I'm going to ask you advice for young Asian women, specifically those who might be inclined to go into the entertainment industry that we're in, or I don't even know what we call our news industry, I guess. But being on camera,
I tell not just Asian women, but everybody in general who wants to get into our industry, broadcast journalism. If you want a family, turn around and run. Don't do it if you want a family. You don't get weekends off. You don't get holidays off. You work crazy hours. Sometimes you don't get home until midnight. Sometimes you have to wake up at 2 a.m. and go to work. So if you're single and that's what you want, this could be a good industry for you. Other than that, run. And you don't get, the pay is not as it used to be. You used to get a good paycheck, and I think now you don't at all.
Interesting. And then just mother-daughter Asian relationships.
Just let her have her way. Just let her say what she wants and just take it and know she's doing it out of love because she cares.
That's beautiful. Now, the last question I ask all my guests is, to who or what are you most grateful for? To who or what are you most grateful for?
Gosh, that's a hard one. I feel like I'm grateful for every single person in my life because everybody around me has influenced me and made me who I am today. And I'm pretty happy with my life today. So
Beautiful.
I couldn't have gotten here without the help of others. So it's definitely the people.
Beautiful. And you can find you on Insta as
Alicia Summers TV.
beautiful. Anywhere else? Are you in other social?
I mean, I have all the social, but I'm not really active on any of them except Instagram and now TikTok. I do all my news stories on TikTok, so you won't find anything fun. Like I keep Instagram fun, and then I keep TikTok just news updates.
Interesting. I haven't checked out your TikTok. I haven't told my daughters I'm on TikTok yet. So, but wonderful. Well, it's been a delightful time. I'm really glad we got to spend some time and get to know each other better. I wish you the very, very best. I have this thing that I do at the end of every broadcast. I think I made you do it on the red carpet.
Yes.
Ready? Peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from my living room during the pandemic with the beautiful Alicia Summers TV. Go find her, follow her, and a reminder that you need to go forth and multiply the validation that you are. Have a good weekend, and just know that everything's going to be okay.